Previously, in episode 2, Anya wanted to help Lloyd achieve his mission to get closer to Damien. She knows that Damien has a favorite dog named Max. So she asks her parents if she could adopt a dog to use it as a medium to be closer to Damien. The next day, the news broadcast announced the arrival of Minister Brantz and his government officials in Estonia for the top summit between two countries that will be held tonight. Elsewhere, a group of Berlin University students loaded caged dogs into a van as the foreign minister, Brantz, arrived in Estonia. Anya is ecstatic about getting a dog. But when her parents take her to the pet shop, they only find ugly and ferocious-looking dogs. These dogs are strong and perfect for being guard dogs. But they are not what Anya wants. So Lloyd asks the pet owner to shop for a smaller dog. The pet shop owner reveals that there will be a pet adoption fair today. Since Anya does not like his dog, maybe they should go check it out. But while Anya was looking for her pet, Lloyd got signals from another Westalia spy about another mission. So he tells Anya and Lloyd to go to the animal shelters while he goes to the toilets. Lloyd goes to the headquarters to be briefed on the emergency mission. The Westalia Intelligence Agency has intercepted an assassination plot by a group of Berlin students against Foreign Minister Brantz tonight at the summit. One of the students, named Chris, was caught trespassing at the embassy of Westalia. The Westalia intelligence knows not that Chris is involved in an assassination plot against Foreign Minister Brantz. But Chris does not reveal any other information. Chris tells the handler in the interrogation room that he will not sell out his friend. But handler reveals that they caught their leader. So she does not need him anyway. The leader of the terrorists is named Keith Kepler. He is escorted by two agents and crosses paths with Chris. As soon as Keith spots Chris, he blurts out that the whole plot was Chris' plan, and he is willing to cooperate and tell them everything they want to know if they let him go. The handler tells Chris that she does not care who the leader is as long as she gets the information she needs. Realizing the predicament he was in, Chris started to reveal information about the terrorist. After Chris spills the beans, Lloyd takes off his disguise. The fact is that Lloyd has disguised himself as Keith Kepler to make Chris talk. Chris tells Handler about the active terrorist members and their hideouts. Handler asks how they were planning to carry out the assassination. Chris reveals that they plan to use bomb dogs. Lloyd does not entirely believe what Chris says, because it is too costly for college students to train the dogs. Westalia counterintelligence attempts to come up with a plan to deal with the assassination attempt. Lloyd proposes to cancel the summit altogether, but the handler shoots down the idea. She said it would reflect badly on the image of the ruling party. Instead, she instructs others to warn the Westalia government to be on high alert. Elsewhere downtown, two men are walking two dogs on leashes. One of the men stops to get coffee at the coffee shop. One of the dogs named Bond sees a kid running around on the sidewalk. Suddenly, a plank of wood falls off the roof and is about to hit the boy. But luckily, Bond saves his life by pulling him away. Because Bond was running away to save the boy's life, the two men started doubting Bond's ability to complete the task they had planned for him. But they decided it is too late to change the plan. At the animal shelter, Anya and Yor find much cuter animals. While Anya runs around the animal shelters with glee, Yor begins to ask the animal shelter worker to learn more about suitable dog breeds for the family. Anya spots Bond as he passes by. With Anya's telepathy ability, she reads into Bond's mind and sees herself and the rest of the forgers. Anya wonders how she and her family can be in the dog's mind. While Yor is distracted by the animal shelter worker, Anya decides to run after the dog herself. Anya enters a building and finds a pack of dogs tied on leashes, including Bond. While looking at the dog, she overheard Keith and the other students discussing the assassination plot. Keith plans to kill Furin Minette or Brantz to bring Astania back to its former glory. While Anya is eavesdropping, a student named Kurt spots her and captures her. When Kurt reports to Keith about capturing Anya, he pulls out a knife and tells Kurt to take care of it. One of the students contests the decision to kill Anya because she is still a little kid. But Keith still insists on silencing her. Just as Keith is about to finish Anya for good, Bond breaks out of his leash and protects Anya. One of the students prepares to attack Bond, but Keith tells him that they need to keep Bond safe for the mission. Elsewhere, Yor now realizes that Innie is missing. She runs frantically around to look for Anya. At one point, she even jumped up on the roof to search for Anya from the bird's eye view. But even that is futile. Anya is no longer at the pet adoption fair. Yor panics and hopes that Lloyd will arrive soon. But, unfortunately for Yor, Lloyd is unlikely to come to her because he is busy with his spy mission. Lloyd visits the hideouts that Chris had told them about and finds that they have been abandoned. But he is able to find more clues about two white vans rented under the name Kevin Knowles. Lloyd gives the plate number to Handler to track the van. Handler also finds more information. Astinian scientists had been working on a secret project called Project Apple, whose aim was to create highly intelligent military animals. When the project fails, the subjects are sold on the black market. Back at the terrorist hideouts, Keith orders Bond to step away from Anya, so he can finish her off quickly. Anya uses her telepathy to read Bond's mind. She sees a premonition of a phone ringing, which takes the terrorists off guard. To her surprise, the premonition came true. The phone rang just a second later. Back at the terrorist hideouts, Keith orders Bond to step away from Anya, so he can finish her off quickly. Anya uses her telepathy to read Bond's mind. She sees a premonition of a phone ringing, which takes the terrorists off guard. To her surprise, the premonition came true. The phone rang just a second later. While Anya rides on Bond's back like a horse to escape from the terrorists, she realizes that Bond has the power of premonition and can see into the future. Anya tries to ride toward the pet fair, so Yor can protect both of them, but Bond keeps moving in the opposite direction. Keith yells at his lackeys for letting Anya escape, and he orders Kurt to come with him to bring Bond back. Keith then orders the rest of the terrorists to abandon the hideout. Anya tries to get Bond to stop, but he just keeps running. Anya then decides to guide Bond to the police station, but Bond ends up running in a circle. Keith and Kurt finally catch up with them. Anya then tries to turn around, but Keith's dog stops them before they can. Yor jumps out of nowhere and kicks Kurt to the ground. Yor bravely saves Anya. She mistook Keith for the kidnappers she hear about on the news. Keith stands dumbfounded by the attack while Kurt lies unconscious on the ground. This is the end of episode 3. But what will happen to Bond and the assassination plot? Stay tuned for episode 4.